Tatvam Eva Nashami Samhitum. Translation of what he said. My Lord, due to your illusory energy, all living beings in this material world have forgotten their real constitutional position. Out of ignorance, they are always desirous of material happiness in the form of society, friendship, and love. Therefore, please do not ask me to take some material benefits from you, but as a father not waiting for the son's demand, does everything for the benefit of the son, please bestow upon me whatever you think best for me. And purpose will what he said. It is the duty of the son to depend upon his father without asking anything from him. The good son has faith that the father knows best how to benefit him. Similarly, a pure devotee does not ask anything from the Lord for material benefit, nor does he ask anything for spiritual benefit. The pure devotee is fully surrendered unto the lotus feet of the Lord, and the Lord takes charge of him, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 1866. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshishyami. The Father knows the necessities of the Son and supplies them, and the Supreme Lord knows the necessities of the living entities and supplies them sumptuously. Therefore, the Upanishad states that everything in this material world is complete Purnamidam. The difficulty is that due to forgetfulness, the living entities create unnecessary demands and entangle themselves in material activities. The result is that there is no end to material activities life after life. Before us, there are varieties of living entities, and everyone is entangled in transmigrations and activities. Our duty is simply to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead and let Him take charge, for He knows what is good for us. Puthu Maharaj therefore tells the Lord that as the Supreme Father, He may elect to bestow whatever He considers beneficial for Puthu Maharaj. That is the perfect position of a living entity. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches in his Shikshashtaka, Nadanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadisakam he mama janma janmanishware bhavatat bhaktirahai chupe. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor have I any desire to enjoy beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your costless devotional service in my life birth after birth. The conclusion is that the pure devotee does not aspire after any material benefit from devotional service, nor should he be enamored by fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. He should always be engaged favorably in the service of the Lord. That is the highest perfection of good. ओमज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं तदास्मि स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साकृजातं सगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं श्रीजीवं सात्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् स्वगणरघुनाथं श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपीश गोपिकांत राधाकांत नमस्ते तत्कांचन करुणागी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी शिवानेश्वरी पद्मामी हरिप्रिय वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यः एवं च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मोहम करो वाचल पंकज मोहम्मद शीघ्रं जगतात्म परमात्मा शिचे Hare Krishna. So, in this sloka, actually, prior to this, we see that Lord Vishnu appeared in the sacrificial arena. Then Prithu Maharaj glorified Lord Vishnu, and Lord Vishnu asked Prithu Maharaj to take some benediction. And in this verse, we see that Prithu Maharaj is basically he's telling, this is what the translation is again, I read it. My Lord, due to your illusory energy, all living beings in this material world have forgotten their real constitutional position. And out of ignorance, they are always desirous of material happiness in terms of society, in form of society, friendship, and love. Therefore, please do not ask me to take some material benefits from you, but as a father, not waiting for the son's demand, does everything for the benefit of the son, please bestow upon me whatever you think best for me. So, in one nutshell, the conclusion is that Prithu Maharaj is asking Lord Vishnu to give a blessing which the Lord feels is suitable for Prithu Maharaj. So this is a very important point that we must understand. Generally, when a spiritual master comes, who comes as a representative of the Lord, devotees also have a tendency to ask, please bless my family, please bless my business, please bless me in such a way that my son comes or daughter comes first in education. These are normal things that even devotees ask, but this uh, Sloka is a perfect example of Prithu Maharaj, who was also in this role as a great devotee of the Lord. Of course, not all of them are pure devotees like Prithu Maharaj, but we'll understand the intricacies of this particular issue. So it starts with mentioning that living entities are away from the Lord due to the Lord's illusory energy, that is Maya. Since Maya is also a great devotee of the Lord, and she tests the jivas all the time. If the jivatma is satisfied with the fulfillment of the desires or not, if he is satisfied, Maya tries to do it such a way, she keeps flooding him with a lot of material desires. But if one is very sincere, she will send him to a genuine guru. And if one is not sincere, she will keep giving him a lot of false promises, lot of false desires, and she may send the person to false incarnations or even to an atheist. So this is how Maya acts. So example is given that the material world we see a silkworm. A silkworm creates its own cocoon with its saliva and then becomes trapped in it. Similarly, the living entity gets trapped with its karma and gets entangled into the cycle of birth and death. Now, one example from the Shastras is that Dhruva Maharaj, he went to the forest with a material desire. He wanted a kingdom as big as Lord Brahma. But then, later when he saw the Lord, he realized that all whatever he has got, that is his army, family, palaces, were all creations of the Lord's illusory energy, which is true because anything that is there in the material platform, they are all temporary in nature. They don't last for a long time. It lasts maybe for one birth, so whether it is army or family or palaces, not beyond that. Some may be very, very fortunate, very rare, which is very rare. But otherwise, all the material opulences come to an end with one birth. And again, one has to start earning the material opulence. That is why Prithu Maharaj considers this very highly invaluable. The next point is that the point is mentioned that out of ignorance, they are always desirous of material happiness in the form of society, friendship, and love. So these are three factors. Normally, people look for reciprocation. For example, society. We have so many societies flourishing today. Other one is friendships. People say that this is their friend, that is their friend. But all these friends are also all temporary. There is no eternal friend for anyone except Lord Krishna. And the third point is about love. Love is also temporary, and we see that whether it is within the family or outside of the family, there is no eternal loving relationship, whether it is between the family members or within the society or within friends. So all these are temporary in nature and will go off with over a period of time. So what the Shastras describe is that there is no material happiness in this world. So Srila Prabhupada defines that absence of distress is what is called happiness. So that means the like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says Dukkhalayam Shasvatam. That means material world means it is only full of distress. And when there is no distress for a certain period of time, then people look at it as happiness. This is what real happiness of the material world is. There is a quote in Srimad Bhagavatam where there is a mention of Markandeya Rishi. Uh, he is explaining to Yudhishthira Maharaj that there are four classes of men. The first one is those who work very hard to attain wealth by any means, simply for the purpose of sense gratification. They can feel happiness in this life, but not in the next. That means those who struggle very hard to make money, they may get some happiness in this life, but not definitely not in the next. Then the next one is those who engage in austerity and meditation, who subdue their passion and even sacrifice their bodily strength by executing rigid vows, attain happiness in the next life, but not this one. That means there are people who take a lot of austerities and they may do some meditation. So many we see meditation schools and yoga schools and all these things, which are run without a purpose, without understanding what is the purpose of these institutions. So those type of personalities, they may get some happiness because they are undertaken some austerities, maybe in the next life, but definitely not in this life. Then the third one is those who live piously, accumulating wealth by virtuous means, who live a life of regulated sense enjoyment in marriage while performing sacrifices and charity, experience happiness in this life also and the next. That means there are people who lead a virtuous life. They may follow the regulative principles given in the Shastras and marriage and all those things. They may perform some sacrifice and give some charity also. They will experience happiness not only in this life but also the next. And the fourth category is that those who are lazy and foolish attain happiness neither in this life nor on the next. That means those who act on an animalistic platform, they can attain happiness neither in this nor in the next. And one point is that devotional services is such that whatever devotional service one performs, they get a result of it not only in this life, and if not completed, they get in the next life also. Because devotional service continues life after life till we complete what is necessary, what is required for us. So, if this is not attained, then the happiness between a human life and the animal life, there is no difference at all. So, everyone is looking for happiness, but they don't know where it can be achieved. Shastra says that there is only one form of happiness that is eternal and that is unlimited and that can be attained by spiritual realization. So, Srila Prabhupada mentions about the living entity's constitutional position. Eternally, we are part and parcels of the Lord. This relationship always existed with the Lord. It is always existing and it will always continue to exist. So the relationship is one of loving relationship with the Lord, and that can never be disturbed. But because we have forgotten our constitutional position, then we are trying to achieve something insignificant in this material world. But in the same material world, if we understand what is our constitutional position, we can perform every activity as a service to the Lord, and that also can reach us to a state of spiritual bliss. For example, a housewife may cook for the Lord. So she cannot say that this is summer, I cannot cook, or this is winter, I cannot cook. She has to perform her constitutional duty that is cooking for the members of the house. So that also can be performed as a service to the Lord by which she can derive a spiritual bliss. And a male member may go to the office or do some business, but all these activities can be converted to spiritual, can be dovetailed in spiritual aspects, and one can attain spiritual bliss. Of course, it takes time, but it's not very easy. The reason is that the Lord is spiritual, the living entity is spiritual, the process of devotional service is also spiritual. So, to attain a unison between all these three, it is not very easy, but over a period of time with practice, it can be achieved. And when once this is achieved, then one can get a complete harmony and one can attain the spiritual bliss. And this bliss is, it is said that it is far superior and higher than the happiness that we may derive from the material prosperity. We look at some of the examples today, but before that, uh, there is an example quote that body. Generally, people use bodily for look some for some comfort. The senses, they look for sense gratification. The mind looks for happiness, but the soul looks for bliss, which is far higher than all of this. So, ultimate goal of the people, particularly in the human form of life, is to know that we have to attain the spiritual bliss and not a material happiness. Uh, in the market, we see hundreds and thousands of literatures, of videos, and so forth, but none of them can give uh, uh, a, a living human form of life any happiness that is seeking. Maybe a temporary happiness might be there. Somebody might watch a movie, they might get some temporary happiness, but then it doesn't last for a long time. Film stars also rise overnight and they fall down. Politicians also rise overnight and also fall down. So this is what the material world is like. Money does not bring anything. People are desperate to work, but as we see today in Kali Yuga, the leaders are also falling down very badly, very fast. Even the students who are going to the schools or colleges, they are under so much of pressure. We see day to day that the students are committing suicide because they are not able to take the pressure. And the parents want to enforce them. Everyone wants to come first, but it doesn't happen. So the students also feel frustrated and they are not able to take it. So material world is such that irrespective of whatever line one might take, there is no end to the difficulties that one has to go through. But spiritual life is not such. One can choose their own path, their path in the spiritual life. When I said path, there are different means. I will not dwell into that in the detail. It's like Jnana yoga, bhakti yoga, and so forth. But the bhakti yoga is such that it is like a process. One takes a lift and reaches the top floor. Whereas the karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, all these are processes which goes step by step. Ultimately, they all have to reach the top floor, that is the bhakti yoga. So we have to decide what step we want to take, how we want to take, when we want to take. So Srila Rupa Goswami explains in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that there are three kinds of happiness. One is happiness from material enjoyment. Second is happiness by identifying one with the supreme. That means these are the impersonalists who identify themselves as they want to enter the Brahma Jyoti. And the last one is happiness derived from the Krishna consciousness, and that is the highest. And one example is given in the Hari Bhakti Subodhya, where there's a mention of Prahlad Maharaj praying to Lord Narasimhadev. He says, Narasimhadev wanted to give some benediction to Prahlad Maharaj. This is one quote I'm giving. So Prahlad Maharaj says, I repeatedly pray unto your lotus feet that I may be stronger in devotion service. I simply pray that my Krishna consciousness may be more strong and steady because the happiness derived out of Krishna consciousness and the devotional service is so powerful that with it one can have all the other perfections of Purushartha. That is Dharma, Artha, Karma, Moksha. That means what Prahlad Maharaj is trying to say is that generally people are running after the four Purusharthas. That is Dharma, Artha, Karma, and Moksha. But the happiness that Prahlad Maharaj says that he derives from the Krishna consciousness is so powerful that it can have all the perfections of all the Purusharthas. That is Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. That means one who practices Krishna consciousness, he can get all other material benedictions also. But then he further says a devotee does not aspire for any other perfection as the happiness derived from Krishna consciousness is transcendental. And even a drop of that happiness cannot be compared to the insignificant material actions of distress. That means Prahlad Maharaj is confirming that one can attain all perfections by the Krishna conscious process, which is transcendental. And one who derives even a drop of that happiness cannot be compared to the insignificant material happiness, which is absence of distress. So here Prithu Maharaj says that do not ask me to take some material benefits from you. But as a father, not waiting for the son's demand, does everything for the benefit of the son. Please bestow upon me whatever you think is best for me. So Prithu Maharaj is giving an example of a son. The son is basically dependent completely on the father. And it is the duty of the son to depend on his father without asking anything from him. And a father knows what is necessary or what is good for his son, and he gives the same facilities what is required for him. Many times a father might feel that this may not be the right thing, he may not give, but a sincere son who is surrendered to his father will not expect anything from a father. Similarly, Srila Prabhupada gives that a pure devotee does not ask anything from the Lord for material benefit. Similarly, one should not ask for any spiritual benefit also. Now, one may ask for a spiritual benefit at least in the initial stages. Now, this example is for pure devotees, not for sadhakas like us. But for sadhakas like us, we can always ask for a benediction. Let me be engaged always in this in your service for your pleasure. Because what happens is that devotees also don't come into the right understanding of devotion service. That the Lord is the ultimate beneficiary of even the devotion service. But we tend to think that whatever we are performing, it is for our pleasure. No, it is not our pleasure. I see this attitude even amongst many devotees in our moment. But then it is not very easy to overcome that. But one must try to overcome that by trying to understand whatever devotion service we practice or we execute is meant to be executed for the pleasure of the Lord. When the Lord is pleased, you also derive the pleasure of that, definitely. Otherwise, what happens is that your devotion service is also mixed within the three modes of material nature, maybe goodness, maybe passion, maybe ignorance. There are many people who aspire for a post in devotional service. That is all the lower modes of nature. But a pure devotee who surrendered to the lotus feet of the Lord takes charge of him because the Lord himself concludes in from Bhagavad Gita, Aham Tvam Sarva Pyo Mokshesya and Vasisara. So one who surrenders into the Lord takes care of all these the reactions of his simple activities and gives all the protection. And the example is that father knows the necessities of the son and supplies them accordingly. And Srila Prabhupada mentions that gives a quote of Isopanishad, the invocation mantra. I will not read the sloka, I'll just read the translation. The personality of Godhead is perfect and complete. And because he is completely perfect, all emanations from him, such as this phenomenal world, are perfectly equipped as complete wholes. Whatever is produced of the complete whole is also complete in itself because he is the complete whole. Even though so many complete units emanate from him, he remains the complete balance. So the point is that the Lord is complete and perfect. All the emanations that come out of the Lord are also complete and perfect. And we, the living entities, may not look at it as perfect. We may think that material world is not complete, but the Lord has created, so it is complete. But our expectation of the material world is different. That is why we feel it as incomplete. And then he further quotes that even though so many complete units emanate from the Lord, still the Lord is complete. And then it further says the complete whole has immense potencies, all of which are also complete. Thus, this phenomenal world is complete in itself. The 24 elements of which the material universe is the temporary and manifestations are arranged to produce everything necessary for the maintenance and sustenance of this universe. No other unit in the universe need make an extraneous effort to try to maintain the universe. So the point is that, as we all know, the universe is made up of 24 elements. And all these elements are also perfect in because they are creations by the Lord. But we, the living entities, there is no need for us to make extra effort to try to maintain the universe. The universe functions on its own time scale. So there's a creation on its own, maintenance takes place on its own, and annihilation takes place on its own. It doesn't depend on us. And this is also depend on the complete Lord. So all the facilities are given by the Lord to small units like us, living entities, to enable them to realize the complete whole. So the Lord has given all these facilities for us to realize that still the Lord is complete and everything that has come from the Lord is also complete. So one might ask a question that I'm not complete. But the answer is that our expectations are more than what the Lord has given us. That is where the completeness is not felt. So all forms of incompleteness are experienced due to the incomplete knowledge of the complete whole. So we don't have a proper knowledge of the complete form of the Lord. That is why we feel that incompleteness. And the human form of life is a complete manifestation of the consciousness of the living being. And it is obtained after evolving 8,400,000 pieces of life. That means a human form of life is the only form of life one can realize that the Lord is complete, we are also complete. And if we are feeling that incompleteness because our understanding is not proper, and then further it says, if in this human life of full consciousness, the living entity does not realize his completeness, in relation to the complete whole, he loses the chance to realize his completeness and is again put into the evolutionary cycle of the law of material nature. That means if in the human form of life we are not able to understand that the Lord is complete and we are complete, then we have to lose this human form of life. I'll skip some of the points. One more point. The completeness of the human life can be realized only when one engages in the service of the complete whole. All the services in this material world, whether social, political, communal, international, or even interplanetary, will remain incomplete until they are dovetailed with a complete whole. And when everything is dovetailed with a complete whole, the attached parts and parcels also become complete in themselves. That means the point is that everything is complete, but the activities that we perform, if we are performing for our sense gratification, we will always feel that they are incomplete. But the moment one dovetails the activities in the service of the God, then he can realize that, yes, the Lord has given everything in complete. So whatever the Lord has given me also is complete because he has given what I deserve. And the only way that is that one has to surrender to the Supreme Lord. Then only we can achieve this perfection. So Srila Prabhupada gives a quote from the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Shikshashtaka, which says, Nadanam na janam na sundarim kavitam vachagadisa kamaye mama janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhaktir ahayatati tvaye. Translation is, O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor have I any desire to enjoy beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service in my life, birth after birth. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu set a perfect example by this word from Shikshastaka. I don't need wealth. I don't need any desire. I don't have a desire to enjoy beautiful women, nor do I have any desire for so many number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service in my life, birth after birth. This is the spiritual benediction that a devotee can ask. That means that this is actually the position of a pure devotee. He should always think that I don't need anything but to be always engaged in the Lord's service, birth after birth. Birth after birth, let me be engaged in the Lord's devotional service by which I get attain what I my purpose of life. The Lord knows, and He does not deprive a devotee of also material facility, but also the Lord knows that by providing a material facility, the devotee might get lost in the process of trying to redirect his senses for sense gratification. The Lord knows that and He will not provide a facility. So a surrendered devotee understands, yes, if there is some incompleteness in me, either in terms of material opulence or families or whatever society is succulent, it is because the Lord has put me in this situation. He knows that I may misuse the situation. So we will look at some example. One example is about there was a great devotee in the name of Kolvecha Sridhar, who played a very significant part in the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said one of the dear devotees was the Sridhar Kolvecha, and he was very, very poor, basically, just like Sudama Brahmani. This Kolvecha Sridhar also was very, very poor. He maintained himself by getting some banana tree and selling the leaves of that. And he would sell some leaves and cups made of the banana leaves. So he always offered obeisances. And then whatever income he would get from that, he would offer it to the Ganges. So one day, what he would do is he would sustain his living selling these banana leaves and cups. And the night he would basically chant the Lord, holy name of the Lord, and he would chant the names very loudly. The outsiders would think that basically he is afflicted by poverty, and that is why, because he doesn't have anything to eat, uh, he's starving. That's why he's chanting the name of the Lord loudly. So Mahaprabhu once came to see him. Mahaprabhu told him, I see that the cloth you are wearing is very, very torn from many places, at least 10 places. And the roof of the cottage where you are staying, there are so many holes through which the water drifts in. So why are you? But I see that you always call out the name of the Lord. Instead, if you call out the name of Goddess Chandi is Durga, you won't have any scarcity for food, and she will provide whatever you want, good clothes, food, everything. Kolvich Sridhar said, whatever you say is correct, but the time passes equally for everyone, whether it is a king who has many jewels, who eats opulent food, or whether it is the birds which live in the trees. For everyone, the time passes equally. This was a very good reply, Kolvich Sridhar said. And he said that they all enjoy the fruits of their activities. The king also tries to enjoy the fruit of his activities, and the bird also enjoys the fruits of his activities. Then Mahaprabhu said, you have a great wealth in you, which I am going to disclose to everyone one day. The Sridhara said, now you better go home, because what Mahaprabhu would do is, whenever Mahaprabhu used to take banana leaves and stems and all from this Kolvecha Sridhara, whatever price Kolvecha Sridhar would quote, Mahaprabhu would first quote one-tenth of it, half of the price. This way, Mahaprabhu would bargain with him every day. And finally, sometimes, many times, he may not pay also, but Kolvecha Sridhar would finally get fed up with Mahaprabhu and said, now you take it. I don't want anything from you. You take this. So Mahaprabhu would enjoy this pastime with Kolvecha Sridhar. So Mahaprabhu one day gathered all the devotees, and this was the Mahaprabhu's Leela. And at that time, Mahaprabhu asked Kolvecha Sridhar to be brought to him. So they brought him to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu told him, many lifetimes have passed, you have been serving me, and in this life also you have served me so much that I eat rice in the banana leaf that you gave me. Then Mahaprabhu revealed his original form, and Kulvecha Sridhar, after seeing, he was amazed because he realized, he saw that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was none other than Krishna, and he saw the Lord with Ananta Shesha holding an umbrella. Then he saw Lakshmi Devi offering betel nuts, etc. Mahaprabhu said, you offer me some prayers. Always Sridhar said, I don't have any qualities to offer prayers. But then Mahaprabhu gave a benediction by which Saraswati Devi herself sat on his tongue and she recited the prayers. This way, Kolvich Sridhar offered prayers glorifying the Lord. And after the prayers were over, Mahaprabhu said, I want to give you some benediction. I will give you 8 mystic perfections. Kolvich Sridhar just kept quiet. Then Mahaprabhu said, finally, ask something. I want to give you some benediction. So Kulvishwa Sridhar said that, let that Brahmana who forcibly took away my banana leaves be my Lord, birth after birth. Let me always engage in the service of the lotus feet of that Brahmana who constantly quarreled with me. Make such arrangement that I may chant your names constantly. So three things that Kulvishwa Sridhar asked. He said, first give me a benediction that Brahmana who used to take away the banana lilies forcibly, let him continue to do that. And then he said that let me always engage in the service of the lotus feet of that Brahmana. That means he wants to be engaged in the service of Mahaprabhu. And then he says, this Brahmana always used to quarrel with me because Mahaprabhu also was enjoying the quarrel with Kolvecha Sridhar, and Kolvecha Sridhar also enjoyed the quarrel with Mahaprabhu. This is the third thing that he is asking. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then replied, uh, you are my servant, and that is why today I am giving you the greatest benediction, that is devotional service. That is confidential even to the Vedas. That which Sridhara received by selling banana leaves cannot be achieved even by Lord Brahma in millions of kalpas. The point is that Kulvicha Sridhar wanted to be engaged in devotional service birth after birth, even though he was materially very poor. In fact, there is a quote in Chaitanya Bhagavat. I didn't bring that quote today, but the translation of that quote is that If one may be very, very materially opulent, but if it doesn't have devotional service, he is the poorest fellow in this universe. But one may be very poor materially in this universe, but if he has got devotional service to the Lord, he is the richest person. You must understand that one who possesses devotional service to the Lord is the richest person, not material opulence. Then there is another quote given by Lord Narasimhadeva. He wanted to give some benediction to Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj replies, a servant who desires material profits from his master is certainly not a qualified servant or a pure devotee. That means he says that a servant who asks for material benediction is not a true servant. Then he says, similarly, a master who bestows benediction upon his servant because of a desire to maintain a prestigious position as a master is also not a pure master. That means here Prahlad Maharaj says that uh, if there is a master who wants to give a benediction to his servant because he wants to maintain his prestigious position as a master, he is also not a pure master. Then Prahlad Maharaj says that, oh my Lord, I am your unmotivated servant and you are my eternal master. There is no need of our being anything other than master and servant. So Prahlad Maharaj again he prays that you be my master and let me be your servant. Then he says, I'm naturally your servant, we have no other relationship. Oh my Lord, best of the givers of benediction, if you at all want to bestow a desirable benediction upon me, then I pray that from your Lordship, that within the core of my heart, there be no material desires. So Prahlad Maharaj here confirms that give me a benediction that I don't have any material desires, not now, even in future. Then he says, because of lusty desires from the very beginning of one's birth, the functions of one's senses, mind, life, body, religion, patience, intelligence, shyness, opulence, strength, memory, and truthfulness are vanquished. So here Prahlad Maharaj says in the second point, he says that because we have lusty desires, all our material opulences and truthfulness, everything is vanquished. And we see in our day-to-day dealings also, many times, even truthfulness is a big question mark because devotees also tend to speak lies. But very clearly, Srila Prabhupada says that falsities and duplicity are great impediments in devotion service. So one must be very careful. Then he says, oh my Lord, when a human being is able to give up all material desires in his mind, he becomes eligible to possess opulence like yours. That means Prahlad Maharaj is telling Nrsimhadev that one is able to give up in his human form of life all the material desires, then he becomes eligible to possess material opulence like the Lord. That means that the Lord, if he becomes when he becomes liberated from the material world, there are different rasas, types of liberation the Lord gives. And he says that one will become eligible, that is, this is called Shashti. This Shashti liberation is one becoming one like the Lord, opulence, having an opulence like the Lord. So when one becomes a pure devotee of the Lord, he does not have any material desires, but then he automatically becomes, possesses all the opulences like the Lord. So the conclusion is that a pure devotee should not aspire for any material benefit from devotion service, nor should he be enamored by fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. He should always be engaged favorably in the service of the Lord, that is the higher perfection of life. Before I conclude the class, I would like to give one more example of Sudama Brahmana. We all have heard about the story of Sudama Brahmana. Sudama was engaged in childish pastime with Lord Krishna when both of them went to the forest, collected bamboo, and gave it to the spiritual master, the priest Sandipani lived there. Now, Sudama Brahmana, actually Brahmanas are supposed to be poor by nature. By they are not supposed to accumulate wealth. That is why it is said, Yajanya Adan Padan Padan Dhan Patigraha. They should live on charity and they should give a charity. So they don't keep anything with them. They don't hoard wealth like Vaishyas. So Sudama Brahmana was poor and his wife was also poor. But Sudama was very close to Krishna from his childhood friend. So, but his wife had a desire Sudama Brahmana did not have any desire. But his wife was wondering, Krishna is his close friend. Why should he not go and meet Krishna? She sent Sudama Brahmana. She sent him with some cloth of this chipped rice, and that cloth was also very old and torn and all. But she sent him, and when Sudama Brahmana came to Dwarka to see the Lord welcomed him, put him on, placed him on his own seat, washed his lotus feet, all those things. Then the Lord took care of him. Rukmini also was there. She took care of him. Now, when he was about to leave also, Sudama Brahmana did not ask anything because he had no desire. But when he came back to his house, he saw that his house was fully turned. It was very, very opulent, that he could not recognize his house, nor could he recognize his own wife also. So this is how Sudama Brahmana did not ask, but his wife had a desire. So the Lord fulfilled her desire, not Sudama's desire. Sudama Brahmana did not have any desire at all. But because his wife was having some desire, the Lord fulfilled that desire also without Sudama Brahmana getting entangled with it. In fact, he was surprised that how come he was not able to recognize his own house, he was not able to recognize his own wife also. So that is how he was not, and he was not attached to it also. The point is that we become attached to material opulence and we find it difficult to give it up. What to talk about material opulence? Many times, even in spiritual activities, we see that devotees get attached to their positions, they get attached to their services. But then, Shastras explain that one should be able to do any type of service anywhere at any point of time rather than being attached to a position because these positions are not permanent. If one becomes attached to the position, then it becomes a big impediment for him to focus in devotional service. That is why one has to be very, very careful in execution of devotional service also. Of course, it's a process, but that is how this sloka is an example for us to understand that yes, we must also try to become pure devotees of Lord. Unless and until we become pure devotees, our devotional service will be mixed with either karma or jnana, karma mishra bhakti or jnana mishra bhakti, which will not take us anywhere. They will only keep us bound in this material world. We may, of course, the devotional service will not go a waste. We may get an opportunity to continue. But at some point of time, as we see in Kali Yuga, things are getting more and more difficult. We have to decide for our own self whether I want to achieve that stage in this birth or the next birth. Then we leave it to the Lord. But at least from our side, we have to put our endeavor, at least that I should not have any material expectation, either from material desires, nor should I have expectation of spiritual benefits also. We are here to do the service to the Lord for the pleasure of the Lord. If we have that understanding, Lord Himself says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhoktaram Nitya Padam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. He is the beneficiary of all the sacrifices. So he is the beneficiary of the devotional service also. So he should perform this devotional service without any expectations, without any results, expectation of results. With this, I conclude the class for the day. Any of you have got any questions, comments, they can ask me for the next 2 minutes. I have another program to go. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Pranam Prabhuji.
Prabhu.
Thanks for a very, very wonderful class, Prabhuji. Thanks a lot. You raised so many points. It was really wonderful. Prabhu, there are a couple of points I just want to know that
Yes,
I
Prabhu.
couldn't understand that as turning Kolvachar Sridhar was when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that you can worship Chandi, she will fulfill your material desires.
Yes.
So what was his reply? There is time passed by and everybody, I couldn't understand that. Can you please highlight?
Mahaprabhu wanted to test him whether by giving him material opulence, whether Kolvecha Sridhar will get carried away.
That yeah,
Kolvecha Sridhar is very fixed that he did not get attracted by either mystic power or by even opulence. He said that I want birth after birth, you as my master and I should be your servant. I may be poor, but I'm okay with that.
But the point what he raised, like what he was saying to Mahaprabhu, that as time passes by, for each time is the same for the king and the
Yes, yes, yes.
for
Okay,
but
okay.
what is
That
the
is the beginning of the discussion. Mahaprabhu wanted to
yeah.
test him. So Mahaprabhu says, you are wearing a torn cloth here, there is water is leaking from the thatched roof and all. For that, Kolvecha see that is replying that a king is also living in opulence, and for a bird also, he is enjoying his opulence. But the time is passing equally for everybody. That means he is also passing time, and this bird is also passing time. Similarly, I've got my the same time is passing through me also. So that is what, in effect, that irrespective of whatever the situation is, due to one's karma, one enjoys his opulence, whatever it may be, whether it's a bird or bee or king. That is the point. Time doesn't
Okay,
vary
so
for a king or for a
okay.
Kolvecher Sridhar who is selling banana leaves. It's the same.
Yes, yes, yes. So in one way, Prabhu, whatever time passes by, as per our karmic reactions, we have to withstand with whatever the karmic reactions come to one's life.
Yes,
As
Prabhu.
correct, na, Prabhu? Yes, yes.
Correct, correct. Yes,
And Prabhu, and one more question was that Prabhuji, as you very rightly mentioned that there is no happiness in this material world, and
yes.
as Srila Prabhupada is saying that just when the distress is there gone, and we feel that it's no happiness
Absence
is
of
there,
distress.
but actually it's
Absence
full
of
of
distress.
distress. Yes, yes, absence of distress. But you parallelly mentioned that the four things you mentioned are saying that that if the person is doing pious activity in this life, he will
Yes,
feel happiness and he will. So how
yes,
to understand that happiness and there is no
yes.
happiness here?
This is the material realization of a materialistic person, not of a devotee. Uh, Somebody who does a lot of pious activities, he gets the result of that. We see so many people having a lot of opulence. So they think they are enjoying. We know the truth that material opulence is not going to be of any use, but he feels that he's enjoying that opulence. So uh, it is also a fact that one who performs charity, one who performs, this is also mentioned in the second kind of Srimad Bhagavatam, one who takes a lot of austerities, he gets the result of all these things in terms of material opulence. You understand? So there's a quote that one who donates a Brahmana he gets multiple many times. One who donates one to one who is well versed in Vedas, he gets so many times. But the highest charity is given to a devotee of the Lord, which gets multiplied many thousands of times. The point is that all these are material results one gets for his activities. So if one gives charity to Brahmanas, the result is much more. But material results have no uh, value in this material. But there, whatever one does, it doesn't go waste. One may open a school.
Mhm.
That is also a charity work. It's a good work, which these are basically for karmis, hardcore karmis.
Okay, okay. So basically, that the karmis, they may be feeling that they are feeling happy, but we can understand that this is all
Yes,
temporary, and what they're doing
yes,
is just a waste of
yes,
time. And yes,
yes,
Prabhu, yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. And Prabhuji, here in this, like in the translation, as it's said that you, due to your illusion, is all living in the material world, have forgotten the real constitution provision. So
yes,
Krishna has created illusional provision to keep us in illusion, Prabhu.
yes.
So it's a duty of the illusionary to keep us in illusion.
That's what I
So
mentioned at the beginning of the class.
it's
That
one way,
Maya
it's a
Devi, that's a
Prabhu.
thankless task. Because we have
Yes.
desires, she tries to fulfill that desire. And by fulfilling that desire, we are and getting entangled here only.
Okay, 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 okay.
That is also Maya is also a servant of Krishna.
Yes, yes,
So
yes, yes.
her duty is to keep conditioned living entities like us in this material world. We have desires,
Uh,
and she tries to fulfill the desire, and we are getting entangled.
So in one way, Prabhu, that we wanted to uh, be in illusion, like
Yeah, we
illusion in
want to be
sense we
on.
want.
So we
Uh,
want to be in illusion, so she keeps us in illusion.
okay, 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 okay.
Krishna utilized
I
her
got it,
to
Prabhu.
keep us in illusion. We want to be in illusion. We want
Uh,
to be away from the Lord. So, Lord doesn't do it directly, but he does it through her.
Okay, okay, I got it, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu. Clear, Prabhu?
Yeah, 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 very much clear, Prabhuji. Thanks a lot, Prabhuji. Thanks very much,
Any
Prabhuji.
other questions? Any other comments?
That's all, Prabhu. Very nice class, Prabhuji. Thanks a lot, Hare Krishna,
Thank you all
Dandavat,
very
Prabhuji.
much. I don't speak anything on my own. Whatever is given in our parampara, I speak on that, and I beg my Guru Maharaj to speak on my behalf. I don't have the capacity.
The thing
Okay.
is, Prabhuji, you take out very valuable points from here and there and put highlight it. That is very, very appreciative, Prabhuji. We get so much of really, we get so much of knowledge from that. That yes,
I
here and
try
there, you just
to I try to give some time for preparation of the class.
no, no, very nice, Prabhuji. Very nice, very deep. It is like you go, you pick up from here and there, and then it is correlated and it's very helpful, Prabhuji, to understand. Yes, Prabhuji. Thanks a lot, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you all very much. Tantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada.